Hey Lively, feel free to share this video on YouTube if you have a YouTube channel. I don't really post that much to YouTube. I don't particularly care for it. I wanted to share my opinion about the State of the Union address tonight, and also uh, why I was a Bernie delegate for Pueblo County in Colorado, and then a state Bernie delegate, and I wanted to share my experience about why I'm now for Trump and I believe in him. I know that nobody's perfect. Obviously Trump has flaws. Everyone has flaws, that's without a doubt. And so I wanted to go through kind of my progression and where I am in my mindset and opinion about things, and why I switched from being a Democrat to an independent. And I do support Trump. The State of the Union tonight was fun. I was excited to watch it. I thought it was going to be entertaining. I was surprised by the delivery of Trump's speech. It was really, the speech was really well written and delivered, and that made it a fun thing. He got everyone to laugh. He included everyone. I thought that it was extremely respectful for him to acknowledge the different types of Americans and their struggles. I thought that it was awesome. He, nodded, let's just say, to Buzz Aldrin, the Holocaust survivors, the World War II veterans, the D-Day veterans. I was honestly surprised to see them there. My grandpa, or you wouldn't know, but I was surprised to see them, and that was awesome. My grandpa was a World War II veteran in Germany and drove ambulances. I don't really know much more than that. I just didn't want to really ask him about it. My mom told me it was a sore subject for him, and so I just let that be. So I went to the Pueblo County Convention was a riot. There was at one point I stood up to share my opinion about a ballot measure. I made a brief introductory statement that was very strong and direct, and everyone erupted. And the lady who was, I can't remember what they're called, but the lady who had the gavel, whoever was running the convention, she was telling everyone, like, order, order, be quiet, and I was like, yeah, y'all need to be quiet, because I was 20 seconds into a 2-minute time limit. Excuse me. So after everyone kind of chilled out, she's still hitting the gavel, and so I'm like, is she talking to me? So I turn around, she's like, you sit down. And the best way I could describe it is kind of like middle school, like you just told a bad joke in the microphone and everyone, what I said wasn't school appropriate. We're not in school here. This is real life, and we need to take things seriously, not pretend like real things aren't happening. And that is just the consensus that I got from the Democratic Party convention in Pueblo County. And I'm not trying to overgeneralize about people in Pueblo County, okay? I really like living in Pueblo. It's awesome. I live in Springs now, but I've lived in Boulder, Denver, Springs, and Pueblo. So I've kind of moved up and down the Front Range a little bit. Had a lot of fun out here. The scenery's better than Kansas, which is where I'm from. So anyway, the Pueblo County Convention just kind of showed me how crazy some people are. There was about as much, I can't remember exactly at the county convention whether there was more Hillary Clinton or Bernie supporters. It was pretty much right down the middle. But by the time we got to the state convention, Bernie had won the votes to get the superdelegates, but Hickenlooper, the governor of Colorado at the time, assigned them to Hillary Clinton. When that happened, I knew that the Democratic Party was completely out of integrity, and that's actually important to me. And I would rather have somebody that I don't agree with who has integrity than I messed it up. I would rather disagree with somebody who has integrity than agree with somebody who doesn't. I don't care about necessarily my personal opinions about something, but I love being able to exchange ideas and learn. I've learned a lot from people on LiveLeak. I like Ben Shapiro. I like Bill Whittle, the Firewall. Yeah, Firewall. With that commentator, sorry, I'm not 100% sure if that's his name, but yeah, Ben Shapiro, the Firewall, Suspicious Observer, Space Weather Channel. That's been really educational for me. I've seen the global climate fraud. Not to say that the climate hasn't been undergoing changes, but there's been a period of increase in global temperatures on average, and that shows that the grand solar minimum is here. You know, there's concerns for the future in a lot of different ways, but I've just been able to learn a lot from finding different channels on LiveLeak, watching the videos, and just really considering what they had to say. Black Pigeon Speaks, Paul Joseph Watson, I enjoy his videos as well, and you know, a lot of those things I didn't necessarily like, other than I like Suspicious Observers, the first video, but some of the other ones were kind of hard for me to swallow and digest. Louder with Crowder, another one, like he always made me laugh, but I was kind of just like, man, that guy's, you know, he gets under your skin so much. But then you watch his videos and you really think about it, and you know, yeah, he's obnoxious, but he's dead on in terms of principle and what's so. The videos, the Change My Mind videos, pretty much show that at least the consensus of his ideology, whatever the topic, is cemented, and he's sure about what his opinion is. And it's just so funny because so many people have the mainstream media perspective. They don't have actual original thought on that subject. They just agree with whatever they were told or what they heard. And that's basically the fundamental difference that I see, the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Like I said, I was before, you know, Democrat, and after the superdelegates were assigned to Hillary Clinton, then I left the party. I feel like during President Trump's presidency, pretty much up until the shutdown, and still, you know, throughout that, but he's been, you know, the Mueller investigation is a complete fraud. Hillary Clinton got the, you know, $140 million from Russia to the Clinton Foundation. From what I read, Mueller made a few $1,000,000 off the deal overseeing it. You know, I obviously don't personally have proof of that, but that's what seems to be true. They paid for the Trump dossier. Yeah, that was Hillary Clinton's research camp or whatever that paid for that. And the story's been, you know, that Trump basically did exactly that, and that appears to be not true. There doesn't appear to be any evidence of it. The Russian collusion thing is a complete myth, and I think most people probably see that now. I'm not trying to, you know, pretend like that's not abundantly obvious. I just thought the State of the Union tonight was inspiring. I thought it was really funny. I thought that it was inclusive. You know, he had great things to say about every group of people, you know, apart from illegal aliens, and that's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. But overall, I think the Democratic agenda is to bring people into the country to increase the people that are voting Democratic, and that is a huge problem. The way that the response from Trump on such basic things as like human decency, family, the left's new adoption of like this late term at birth abortion resuscitation, like you would, so what, you'd give the baby a lethal injection that you could then reverse and resuscitate the baby? Like, what kind of sick processes are you even considering? And it's just like, you know, I got my own personal opinions about how I think it should be, but right now I'll just reserve those. But just that viewpoint, to me, is sickening, and it's shameful. I've been surprised by the amount of scandals that haven't been dealt with in a legal way by the Justice Department, by the DOJ, whereas I totally agree that it's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt for Trump, and I was just so impressed by the State of the Union. I mean, everyone enjoyed it at some point. Everyone did. Even Ocasio-Cortez, she smiled and laughed at one point, you know. And that was, it was just incredible to see the refusal to agree with just basic things. I thought that he stayed very mellow. He could have been a lot more embarrassing, assertive, insulting to individuals, and I thought that he pointed out, though, you know, what I remember is the governor of Virginia, the one person that he really singled out actually completely deserved it. So I'm a Bernie bro for Trump, and I just wanted to kind of share. Sorry the video is so long. I'll try and keep the future ones a little bit shorter.